That means that our attacker, who attacked at the foot of the climb of the Saint-Michel team, is now caught. And our first group is all of a sudden very, very, very small. Also, the riders of Visma Lease bike losing a little bit of terrain right now. It is tempting, Maggie, isn't it, to go a little bit harder, a little bit faster, because you see that group in front of you. It's like I can ride to that, and then you pay dearly for it a little bit further on in the climb. And we have a sector at about a kilometre from now when things start to become a little bit easier with 5 to 7%. So try to keep your pace and hopefully come back when it becomes a little bit easier.
Yeah, I mean, trying to recover is never easy on a climb like this, and especially with the intensity that they ride it with. But yes, the gradient does get somewhat easier to deal with, but then you're already starting to think about setting yourself up for the finish.
Yeah, this is double-digit gradients, as you can see. Emmanuel Boegman, or Emo, as he's called, is the man for Cofidis. We have Guillaume Martin out there as well. Is this Christian Rodriguez? I think it is in Christian Rodriguez of Total Energy. There's Guillaume Martin. That is an interesting attack. Looking very focused there. With Jordan Giga on his wheel. But doing the next 2.4 kilometers from the saddle is, yeah, in true Alberto Contador fashion, of course, but still quite a way out.
It's still a long way to go to the finish. There is no question about that. And you got to know at this point in time, it's when your power meter on your bike starts to come into account, and actually looking down, realizing how hard you're going and what you can actually sustain over the next, let's call it 5-6 minutes of riding here.
12th place for Guillaume Martin in the Basque Country. Of course, difficult stage race. 13th in that very cold and very wet edition of Paris-Nice. His last victory is already 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years ago, in the Tour de l'Ain, where he won the overall classification. Of course, made the move from Cofidis to Groupama FDJ this year. Still, you always have some of these riders that you have to really get used to in their new kit, and Guillaume Martin is most definitely one of those riders.
Yep.
This is the easier kilometre of the three. 5 to 7% here. He stays out of the saddle. That is a really strong effort there.
Yeah, some riders have got that ability to ride out of the saddle for a very long time, and other riders just cannot do it. It's all about your muscle makeup and composition of, you know, just pure ability. Some riders train a lot on it as well. But yeah, it's so far he's doing a really strong ride.
Well, it is really strong. I think this is Equipo Ken Pharma trying to count. No, it's I think Clément Berthet up here. We have Boegman still out there. Ivan Kobo is still out there. Anton Schiffer is still out there. I think the German rider of Bikeaid. Another great performance by him. But well, the final kilometre is a tough one. We still have gradients of up to 10% in that final kilometre. But what Guillaume Martin is showing here is really impressive.
Yeah, I'd say it's far from over yet, though. With 1.6k to go, I mean, it's a good time gap that he's got, but it's not 100% over yet. If you have someone with something left in their legs sitting in this group here now, I'd say it's still possible to close that down, but they have to make a move relatively soon.
Flamme Rouge is coming up, although this is of course a climb, and that makes it really, really hard, that final kilometer. One of the Burgos Burpelet riders also trying to bridge across. As you can see, this is the easier sector, but we're going into 10%, 9% gradients when we get to the final kilometer. This is a really remarkable effort here by Guillaume Martin Guillonnet, as his full name is. He is 31 years of age already. This is his first year representing Groupama FDJ, who haven't had a super successful year just yet. They had a win for David Gaudu and a win for Romain Grégoire in Ardèche. So this could be the third win only for the squad. As we enter that final kilometre, he's out of the saddle again. It looked like he does the entire climb out of the saddle.
1K to go there.
We're back in the town of Montfaucon, and then we're looking through the corner. Two riders, Clément Berthet indeed, and number 92 is José Manuel Diaz. Very experienced rider there in the purple of Burgos BH. But I think the move was made at 2.5 kilometers from the line. Might need a little bit more tarmac on this little sector here, but it doesn't really hold him back. August 2022 was his last victory, Guillaume Martin. It looks like the gap is getting bigger. There's a little bit of out of sight. That always helps, that the chasers don't see you. Clément Berthet in the blue and José Manuel Diaz in the purple. I don't think they're going to get him.
No, 15 seconds, so it would take a big effort, but you can see the actual distance on the road is not that great. Time-wise, yeah, 15 seconds is still 15 seconds. But you can make that up quite quickly if Guillaume Martin really just runs out of steam here. 15 seconds goes so quickly.
Well, this effort is already 2.5 kilometers out. Clément Berthet in the blue, getting everything out of the legs that he still has left. The gap is now getting a little bit smaller, but of course the meters towards the finish line are also getting smaller. This is the official King of the Mountains. He doesn't care about that. He wants that win, does Guillaume Martin Guillonnet. Let's see how far it is. 500 meters from this corner. We still have 9 or 10% gradients in the final 500 meters. They can now see him. The gap is indeed getting smaller. Out of the saddle yet again. A little bit of respite there. But now inside the final 400 meters for Guillaume Martin, the man who started with number 1. Last year, of course, it was Lenny Martinez who won this race for Groupama FDJ. So they get to start with number 1. The final 200 meters here for Guillaume Martin, with Clément Berthet and José Manuel Diaz Gallego in pursuit. 150 meters, there's a grin on his face. The man from France, from Normandy, 31 years of age. It's been almost 3 years since he last won a race, but he does it again. Guillaume Martin Guillonnet wins the Grand Classique Besançon Doubs for Groupama FDJ with a long range attack, 2.5 kilometers out. Second place goes to José Manuel Diaz and third to Clément Berthet. What a fantastic effort there by Guillaume Martin Guillonnet, doing most of the climb, Maggie, out of the saddle. Bravo.
Yeah, it was needed at with this kind of gradient here. But yeah, that was a very well ridden final climb by Guillaume Martin. He waited long enough. He knew he could keep a sustained pace for that particular length of time that he had left to the finish, and never really looked in trouble. I was a little bit worried when he first went that he was going too hard. It looked like he was really cranking a big gear and pushing possibly a little bit above the limit, but he just maintained that pace. So yeah, perfect job.
Job well done.